We're here with Tom Witcombe. How are you, brother?
Great to be here. Very happy to be here. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm going fabulous, mate.
Nice.
I've got the call up. I'm here.
I know.
Look
You're Johnny's stand-in.
So you're over all weekends?
I am, indeed.
6 shows.
6 shows, 2 on Friday, 4 on a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a lot of money in your goddamn pocket, that's for sure.
Yeah, more than you.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
I've never had a gay experience. Frankly, I blame my friends. Because none of my friends had gay experiences, and if they had, I probably would have. I know me, I'm a follower. You know, I give in to peer pressure pretty quickly. If all my friends had jerked off a Cliff, and Cliff was a nice guy, you know, that's at least 7 claps. That is at least... We're heading up. We're going to make the most of this.
How long have you been in the game for? How many years?
I've been doing stand-up for, I think, 2017. This would be my, 8 years.
Yeah, right. 8 years. It's a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it feels like it goes so slowly at the start. Like, it feels like it takes you forever to be a 3-year comic, and you just feel the progress is slow. So... it takes a long time to get anywhere near being happy with what you were like as an act. And then after a while, it just seems to speed up. I think like the last couple of years have gone really, really quickly.
Yeah, at one point, once you I think time drags when you're trying to work on that first 5 minutes. And then once you got that 5 minutes and you're able to just easily dial a few gigs in, time can just fly by.
Also, when you start and you're just begging for gigs, you're just like, can anyone please let me do this? And like, yeah, you could be number 37 in a bucket pool. Like, but could I just do 10 minutes to real people instead of the rest of you?
Yeah.
And so I think, that as you get on longer, the friction exists less. There is just less friction in the process, and you start worrying about bigger things. Like you say, you're not worried about your 5 minutes, you're worried about your hour, or you're not so worried about getting gigs, you're worried about selling tickets. They're just kind of different. They're kind of, in a way, a little bit more in your control.
So where you are at the moment, like you've got an hour under your belt, and are you doing your solo around the place, or?
I tend to work on the sort of festival model. So I have for the last 5 years had a new hour every year that I did originally just in Sydney, and then have slowly kind of grown out. So this year was the first year I did the Perth Fringe. I've done the Melbourne Comedy Festival the last few years. I've done the Adelaide Comedy Festival once, and then I do a little bit of touring in satellite cities, Newcastle, Wollongong, Brisbane. I try to have a new hour every year if I can, which is great. I think it's good to force yourself to do the turnover.
Yeah, that's a lot of writing.
Writing's my favourite part of it.
Do you go to a lot of open mics as well to test it out, or you just sort of work it while you're up there?
Not so much anymore. I remember when I first started, and all of the sort of common wisdom that I heard was about just get on stage as much as possible. It doesn't matter how shitty the gig is, just get on stage. And then I think the longer I got into it, I started hearing more people talk about, well, actually, not all gigs are worth doing necessarily if you don't, like, the skills and the tools that you'll build trying to do well at an open mic won't necessarily serve you well at the Comedy Lounge or whatever.
Yeah.
So now I probably don't do as many open mics. I probably do more booked gigs, unpaid, but with bookers who trust me and who are willing for me to run new stuff.
Yeah, sweet. That's awesome. Because there's not a lot of bookers in the country that are sort of like, I'm paying you for a gig, I'll let you do new, but like you find like you've found sort of like that safe space with the bookers.
I have to shout out Anthony Skinner, who runs a lot of comedy. I think he runs a comedy night almost every night of the week in Sydney now, and he ran the open mic that I did. The first gig I ever did was one of his, and it's been really cool because a kind of whole group of us, we started doing comedy when he started putting on shows, and so we've all sort of grown at the same pace or at the same time, and now he is one of the biggest, certainly probably the biggest independent comedy booker in Sydney now. And yes, he's been very, very kind in terms of stage time and giving me opportunities to get on stage.
Because the older you get, you realise you just get less exciting in your life. I notice this all the time. I go to a party in my 30s, all I can think about is how much better parties were in high school. Because parties in high school, things happened. There was gossip, there was intrigue, there was drama. Go to a party in your 30s, the chance of you seeing anybody behind a bush getting fingered. Almost none. And I'm looking. It's...
So Sydney you're based in, and
Yes.
that's where you started, yeah?
Yeah.
How long were you in the game before you started travelling, like, interstate or outside of Australia?
The first time I started traveling, I haven't done a lot of gigs outside of Australia. I've done a week in London on a holiday and just tried to do some gigs, which was awesome. I think I first started going interstate when I started opening for Dan Muggleton. So I've been opening for Dan Muggleton for a few years now, and then so I would go with him to Adelaide or to Brisbane or to parts of New South Wales. And then you sort of, I think similar, you kind of build relationships with certain clubs. So the Lounge has me out a bit. Good Chat Comedy in Brisbane has me up a bit. I don't really have as many kind of connections in Melbourne, so I don't spend as much time there, but I'll go for the festivals. So yeah, it's been kind of a slow build of that sort of stuff.
I think as men, we sometimes don't always take time to realise that the different experiences that women have to face every single day. Like, I think about this, still in this day and age, there are women out there who feel like they have to fake orgasms. And I think that's awful. As a man, I've never had to have that experience. Closest experience that I've had would be faking not having an orgasm, which is harder. There's evidence. I'm going to be like, look, lady, I don't know what you're talking about. All right. That cum was there when I got here.
Fantastic comic, one of my faves.
Thank you, man.